What is going on, Warriors? Your boy Shinryu back giving another video, and this time we are back to actually delve into D Rose. That's what I call her, Diviner Rose, but I call her D Rose. Uh, Reminds me of Derrick Rose, the NBA, but that's a different story entirely. But we're gonna call it D Rose, okay? So we're gonna be delving into her today. But first of all, I'm gonna go right ahead and actually mention there's one other thing I believe that it mentioned in the update. I think I kind of skipped that, but it was something about some additional stuff with, I think it was Fighting Souls. So let me see if we can actually pull it out real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, so new consecutive strengthening feature added to Fighting Spirit. So consecutive strengthening feature. So I'm trying to figure out what that is all about. Okay, so let's go right ahead and let's go into one of our existing characters right now. Say for example, Mad Ryu. All right, and let's go into the Fighting Spirit to see what I'm supposed to expect. I don't want to level up the character yet, so I'm just going to go right ahead and just look for someone that isn't in that position right now. Let's see here. Let's look for someone that we know that are no wait. Okay, let's go to, say for example, so go to, what I'm wondering is, like I said, I'm wondering if it's actually the case that other characters can now go beyond FS30. All right, however, I haven't, okay, yeah, the easiest way to go about this is to actually just go right to the gallery themselves. Go to, for example, say Gal, who was typically, I know who was FS30 at first, so plus 30, that's still FS plus 30. Okay, we know the likes of the Inferno and Master Character and the special characters are all get to FS40. So let's go right ahead and confirm that. All right. So what is the new feature they're talking about here? Okay. We're gonna make that a different video entirely. Let's just go right ahead and let's focus on Rose. Okay. I will try and delve in further to see if I actually discover what they're talking about, but we're gonna go up to the character of the moment, which is pretty much D Rose. Okay. So we're gonna be going through the character. First of all, we're gonna just break the first part into dealing with the kids, and the second one, we're going to go right ahead and test the character out in a simulated mode where, for example, we're going to try, what we typically do, we are not here to discuss the best way to try and beat the trial modes. We just want to see how efficient she is with either assisting characters that she's in the team with, or with actually even taking care of business herself. Okay, we're going to try different scenarios once we get there, but the first concern I have is obviously when you want to build a character, you're looking at the team that you're trying to build, first second team here, but it looks like there's a lot of contenders from the master and faction especially that are contending for 1 and 2s. All right, what that typically means is that you need to find somebody else that actually is totally, like a 2 and a 3, for example, like the regular Rose, all right, or a 1 and 3, for example, right? But you can see most of them that have been recent have just been 1 and 2s. The most recent characters that have come in have just been 1 and 2s. If you want to look at the last couple, look at obviously we've seen D Rose already 1 and 2. We go to Goken, who was previously that 1 and 2. We can then go to Summer Ibuki, 1 and 2. And we go to I believe it was Ali Chun-Li 1 and 2, and of course if we go to you have to go the way to training Kami to actually get somebody who is totally not in the 1 and 2 category, and of course you have to go to like the Inferno characters to actually find people who are not in that category as well. But then again, you can mix it up as well. But like I said, for supports, 1 and 2 are typically one of the better positions to put them, so it kind of makes sense for her to have that. All right, but let's go back into the character herself. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is going to look at the passive to see what is the key situation here. And right now it says when fate divination or life divination triggers, there is a 15% chance to refill the super combo gauge by 50. Okay, so what we're dealing with here is, it looks like the two key terms right now are fate divination and life divination, and they're going to be describing what these two are about. Okay, so fate divination says upon unleashing a combo, the target receives damage equal to 174% of D Rose's attack and has a 30% chance to have one buff dispelled. So it's almost like they're put into so you're dispelling buff. It looks like, I don't know if you guys remember the can event that occurred recently, right? Where you were getting smoked by the debuff that can would pretty much land, right? And also, some of the bosses also tend to land debuffs, but I don't know if their debuffs are the ones that can actually be removed. I'll have to go right ahead and check that again. But if you remember, not having someone that can actually remove debuff was pretty much a problem, and it looks like she's doing that, so that's actually a good thing. All right. However, how that will work in the actual game mode, I don't think debuff has been super punishable. But I think they work. They're pretty much good for bosses, but obviously that's against them, not for them, right? So hopefully that will kind of help in boss battles. We'll see about that. But then for fate divination, um rather, fate divination status ends after triggering two times. Cannot be triggered if the rose is defeated. So you need D rose to be active for it to actually have it work. I don't. And then life divination says upon taking damage, recover HP equal to 92% of D rose's attack with a 30% chance to dispel one debuff. So pretty much we're talking about dispelling in whatever mode that you're on. So pretty much fate divination is going to be gone when you unleash, and then life divination is going to be triggered when you take damage. Okay, so that's pretty much the two instances there. It's not like a switching phase or whatever. It's just pretty much an incident, that occurs with regards to the friendly character that you're dealing with, right? I think it has to do with the friendly characters, because they said once D Rose is defeated, it can be triggered, meaning everyone actually gets it. However, here is the one thing I'm also want to also address as well. There is nothing that says that she has to start, so that's actually a good thing. It means she can be in the tag position and it will still work. Now, obviously, level 2, level 3, level 4 is just more or less about boosting the effect of fate divination and life divination, right? So it increases it at level 2 to 17%, level 3 to 75%. Gauge is going to be refilled, and then of course at level 4 you're going to be 20%. Now at this point in time, chances are that you pretty much will be hitting level 4 because it's all less about the level. Only newer players would probably not be getting this, so might as well look out for having everything from the start once the character has been unlocked. Okay, now for the actual special, the first one, the Illusion Spark, Soul Aurora, is an AoE. It says unleash Soul Aurora, dealing thunder damage equal to 210% of attack to all enemies. If the skill hits an enemy with Fate Divination, increase the number of Fate Divinations trigger in its chances on that enemy by 1. Alright? Unless this would exceed the trigger chance recap. Okay, so if the skill hits an enemy with Fate Divination, its damage is increased by 25%. Alright, if the skill hits an enemy with at least 2 Fate Divinations, at least 2 divination trigger chances, it immediately triggers Fate Divination. Okay, so if the skill hits an enemy with at least 2 Fate Divinations, trigger chances, it immediately triggers Fate Divination. So once they have 2, they're going to be getting that. Fate Divination, as you already read what it does already, target gets damage, and of course, the friendly fighters have a chance of getting the that debuff dispel any. Oh, actually, I read that wrong. The target has any buff, and it's having the chance of having one buff dispelled. So the likes of if Ryuda depends on piling up, that's just Iki, Akuma and some of the other characters have to sort of watch out for this, right? And of course that also would, I think, pertain to the likes of those who actually, I don't know if you consider, in the likes of the Virgil. He's what's that move there? Let's go to Virgil again. I know there's whatever stuff that he has to stack up to, demon energy. I don't know if that's considered a buff. And if that is, then it's probably going to be dealing with that as well. But let's go back and focus on the character and hand. And let's go back to D Rose. Okay, so first move, pretty much interesting. Have a chance of dispelling, the buffs on the opposing character as well. Focusing mainly on faith divination. All right. Of course, because you're dealing damage. And then for this one, it says heal all allies for HP equal to 50% of D Rose's attack and grant them light divination status. So D Rose now is doing healing right off the bat, not like regular Rose. I think it has to do with some passives to actually get that to work. So that's good. Life divination has a 50% chance to dispel debuffs upon triggering. Life divination can trigger up to 3 times. So this is actually really good. You're not just healing yourself, but you're actually having a chance to dispel debuffs. And we're looking at 50% at this point, so that's actually pretty good. Upon taking damage, recover HP equal to 90%. We already discussed life definition. We know what that works. So, and you can actually get life definition up to 3 times at most. So, all right. So, and then of course, number 2, this skill takes position 2 in the my bad. So do damage equal to 102% of attack and inflict fate divination on all enemies. So this is obviously an attack, and it's AoE as well. Has 50% chance to dispel buffs upon triggering. Can trigger up to 3 times as well. And of course, the description of fate divination. So it's all about fate divination and life divination. That's all it is. Gaining, and of course, this is all circled around, gaining, dispelling the buffs on yourself and dispelling buffs on the opposing team. So that's actually pretty cool. She sounds right now like the ultimate support character from this standpoint of actually ensuring that you survive, because they're reducing the chances of she's increasing chance of you not being damaged by debuffs, and she's also reducing the damage that the opposing team would actually get from whatever buff that it would get. So all about survivability here. Okay. Otherwise, that's how it would work. Like in a boss fight, would be more or less the case of lasting long enough to do more damage rather than having more boost to your damage. Because from what I see here, does she have anything that actually boosts the opposing team? I don't remember actually seeing that. So if the skill hits the enemy with fate divination, its damage is increased by just only the skill that actually gets an increase in damage. No other person gets any buff, as you can see. So we're gonna go right ahead and let's look at the fighting spirit next. Okay, so now fighting spirit here, first one is, let's see what the assist does. When the battle begins, grant the assisted fighter spark status for 25 seconds. Okay, so now what is spark status? Let's see. Upon triggering soul reflux, grant the spark status of all allies for grant the spark status to all allies for 8 seconds. Fighters with spark refuel the kill by coming by 5 every time they are attacked. So that's what spark status is. You get a higher chance. So grant the assisted fighter spark status for 25%, so they have a chance of increasing the combo meter by 5 every time they are attacked. Okay, so upon unleashing fate divination, so now for 10, upon unleashing fate divination, grant all allies life divination with 1 trigger chance. If a target already has life divination active, increase the number of trigger chances by 1 instead, unless this would exceed the trigger chance cap. Upon unleashing life divination, inflict fate divination with 1 trigger chance on all enemies. So once you unleash life divination, you can also inflict fate divination on the enemies as well. If a target already has fate divination active, increase the number of the trigger chances by 1 instead, unless this would exceed the trigger cap. Okay. And then upon triggering soul for level 30 plus, upon triggering soul reflux, increase all allies critical damage by 12% until the battle ends. Okay, now this is what I've been looking for. So now you finally get that damage boost support that she gives. This is only unlocked at 30. This actually makes, of course, it's critical damage, but this actually makes her plus 30 actually relevant for her to work out properly. Because all the others is more or less about the debuff and the buffs and everything that you get, but this plus 30 actually um, the plus 30 actually gives you damage boost, which obviously you probably would like to have, because you have to consider the fact that if you're going to have someone like her there, it's typically not realistic to have two support characters. For example, you can have Elena and Street Poison on the same team. It's kind of like cripples your attack purpose and also how flexible it is if one of your team gets damaged. You also cannot mix. And typically, you don't want to mix in having two supports in a team. It's not. You can have two tanks. For example, you want to make yourself more tanky. You can have two attackers. You want to do more damage, but to have two support is typically very very rare. You would need to have like a very very strong, attacker. But chances are that the attacker might get pummeled because obviously they only typically get that healing portion assigned to one. Most healing are typically assigned to one. I don't think there's any character that has a healing move assigned to like their number two. Summer Yang included as well. So, fighting spirit pretty interesting. Nothing super mind blowing, but yeah, all I can just see is the chance to pretty much work against debuffs and of course clear yourself of debuffs on your team as well. So that is pretty much where this experiment work sounds, and this looks more like what you would pretty much benefit from facing a boss. So is there anything else that we haven't done? Let's look at the garage. Okay, so that's what this extra two stuff does once you add it. Once you have three cards, this is upon triggering light divination, also heal the target for HP equal to some sort of D Rose's attack per second for 4 seconds. Effect does not stack. Mm, so when you get life divination at first, let's see what. Let's see here. Life divination for taking damage, recover HP equal to 90% of D Rose's attack, with 10% chance to dispel one debuff. Alright, so you already get 90%. Are we adding this? So, upon triggering life dimension, also heals target for HP equal to 10% of the resist attack. Give me a second here. I'm actually getting this mixed up. So, upon unleashing, no, upon let's see, fate status, divination status ends. No, we're not looking for this. Divination upon unleashing a super combo or combo, target receive damage equal to no. Okay, now I get it. So I got myself mixed up. Light divination is the one that gives the healing portion of it. Now with three card garage, you're gonna it's still life divination. So I'm right. I just got myself confused. Let's go back to life divination again. Not fit. So life divination upon taking damage, recover HP equal 30%. So you get life divination upon taking damage. No. So you have a chance to get light divination when you take damage, right? Status ends after triggering 2 times. Country if the rose is defeated. Let's see. And when we go back to the garage, also heal target for. It looks like it's attack per second for 4 seconds. Also heals target for HP equal to 4 of this attack per second for 4 seconds. Effective. So it looks like it's an additional healing you get as well. Upon triggering Fate Divination, which is the other 3 cards, do true damage to the target equal to 50% of the Rose's attack per second for 4 seconds. So you're doing like damage over time, almost like you're burning or something. So it's nice. Like it's nice. Will I prioritize over some of the other ones? I'm not sure. Unless she is worthy of being in the team, which we'll definitely know for sure once we go into the actual testing of the character. So that's pretty much it. What do I think of the kit so far? It's pretty interesting. It's a different mechanic to the other characters that you sort of get, and that's the good thing about that I like about the Street Fighter Duel characters. They sort of offer something a little bit different sometimes, and D Rose is someone that's actually brought something new, which has to do with, you know, healing, removing debuffs and adding, removing debuffs from your character and adding debuffs to the other character, right? Or rather, removing debuffs from your character, removing buffs from the enemy team. So that is pretty nice, and it looks like it's something that you pretty much enjoy. Honestly, the boss fight, to be getting rid of debuffs over a long, fight battle, it's not something that you pretty much enjoy often in P or PVE, but I can still see her being very effective. We're going to go right ahead, like I said, and have more tests to the character to see how she actually eventually pans out. All right. Otherwise, that's pretty much the first phase of this analysis for D Rose. All right, pretty interesting character. I'm already working on my roles, to SS right now. Still have a long way to go to get that triple S. But it's been nice. I love her assist, which I typically put on my Evo review for the time being. Otherwise, we're gonna go right ahead and look forward to the other part of the video. And it's been your boy Shin Ryu, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.